Hey guys, how's it going? Brandon here and welcome back you guys to more top 5s. When talking to you guys the other day about new things that you wanted to see or returning things to the channel. Top 5s was one of the things that you guys highly recommended, as it's one of those series where we get to talk and compare and sort of just analyse different types of Pokemon that you guys like, that I like, and all that good stuff. But before the video starts, of course, quick disclaimer, just say this is my opinion. These are my top 5 favourite electric type Pokemon. Make sure to let me know your favourite electric type Pokemon in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's get into this. Taking up the number 5 spot, we have Monetric. This thing always just brings me massive nostalgia and joy whenever I think of this thing, as it was the first electric type I ever used properly through any game, playing through Pokemon Emerald as a kid, and the amount of times that I've used this thing in-game since going through Pokemon Emerald or Ruby or Sapphire, Gen 3 in general, has been enormous. Being an electric type in a water gym, water type region should I say, really helped this thing grow on me, and I've loved it ever since. I've drafted it in Draft League as well, simply because of my favorite. There's other things that are better than this thing in Draft League, but I will still probably pick this thing over them, just for pure nostalgia for me. I also love the colouring. Blue and yellow as a kid, being where I'm from, my sports team colours were blue and yellow, so this thing stuck out to me because of my favourite colours. Stats are great, base 105, special attack, base 105 speed, so just a really hard hitting quick mon, which is definitely my playstyle. So in game it does really well. Draft, it's not as great, but it can do some work, especially with like Lightning Rod and Static and stuff. It's an amazing Pokemon. I love its design, I love everything about it. Gen 3 for the win as well, you gotta love it. It's number 5, it's Monetric. Coming in at the number 4 spot then, you guys, we have a mon that shot straight into my heart when playing through Pokemon Sword and Shield, and that is Toxicity. This thing was an absolute monster to use in game. They've got awesome typing of electric or poison as well. Okay, it does have that 4 times weakness to ground that kind of shies it away, but in game this thing does absolute work. With its Punk Rot ability and the move Overdrive, its special move Overdrive, this thing can put in the absolute shift. In the competitive scene you can also run the different version with a shift gear and run it physical, so the fact that the utility of the mon to run physical or special, I still prefer the special side. Specs Boom Burst, not many things want to take a Specs Boom Burst from a Punk Rock Toxicity. You really need that ghost type to be able to switch in, or because even bulky steels really struggle to take a switch into a Specs Boom Burst from this thing. I absolutely love that. I loved its design as well. The way that it strums its chest whenever it goes for like Boom Burst or Overdrive as well, I thought was really cool. The orange and the electric for the like poison electric, like you can just tell. I just loved its design. It was my favourite mon when playing through Sword and Shield in game wise, so it shot straight into my top 5 favourite electric types, and possibly my probably top 3 favourite out of Sword and Shield. It's the number 4 spot, it is Toxicity. Moving on to the number 3 spot, you guys, we have Lux Ray, and this thing comes into top 3 for me in terms of not only electric types, but top 3 favourite design of any Pokemon. This thing's design is the reason it's so high for me on the list. I don't know what it is about this thing. Every time I go through Gen 4 I have to use it. It's very rare that I don't use it, or if I do not use it I tend to try out something new or something a bit different, but whenever someone asks me about Gen 4, I always say the go-to is always Lux Ray. It's just one of those mons that, especially in-game, just gets the job done. In competitive scene, it's not used very well at all. Hopefully with the new meta coming out, I saw a few things with the new moves and access to Moxie. Was it Moxie or Guts that this thing gets now, and the boost to Guts or something else? I can't remember, but I swear I saw someone use it in OU. I think it might have been Envy using Lux Ray in OU and actually putting in the finest of work with it. So hopefully it can actually come up a few of the ranks in competitive. But in-game, it's still arguably one of the best electric types, especially going through Gen 4. Again, my main reason for loving this thing is always going to be its design. I just think it looks absolutely awesome, and that's the reason why it's number 3 for me, and it's Lux Ray. For all those with arachnophobia, look away now, because in our number 2 spot we have the boy Galvantula. Again, another thing, going through Generation 5, this thing always sticks out to me. It was one of the first. It's always very hard for me because my favourite Gen 5 is Levani, and my second favourite mon in Gen 5 is Galvantula. And they're both bug types, and I don't like duplicate typings. It's the only time in game I will ever use duplicate typings going through a generation, and that's having Levani and Galvantula on the same team, because I just can't. I can't not having one without the other, because I love this thing. Just in game, I remember it being really useful. The Compound Eyes Thunder, I remember being overpowered as anything in Generation 5. Bug Buzz is always going to be great. It gets access to things like Energy Ball, and especially on the competitive side, we get Sticky Webs, which is a very good webber. I've used it in Draft League multiple times, and it just puts in work. It can be a sash lead, it can be a late game sweeper with specs because it's got really good speed. It's just all round a very, very good Pokemon, and that's the reason why it's in the number 2 spot. And then coming in at the number 1 spot, you guys, some of you might have seen this coming. I've talked about this on stream before. A lot of you guys have asked me, what is my favourite Generation 2 Pokemon? And it's Lantern. Actually comes in at my probably top 10 favourite Pokemon of all time, is Lantern. I don't know what it is about this thing. It's just, I've always loved it. I've always loved its typing. Water Electric has always been really cool and unique to me. I always found it really interesting that a water type can outdo other water types, obviously other water ground types. But this thing gets really, really good coverage in-game. Arguably one of the best water types to use in-game, period. Just because of the typings that normally the in-game uses and the sort of trainer types that you come up against. I really wish that you could get this thing earlier in Gen 3 because I really feel like this could be the best water type to use in Generation 3 if you got it earlier than the diving into Toxicity City, so you can't get it until after the 7th gym, which is a really big letdown. Competitively, I've seen people use this thing in multiple different ways. The notorious way I've seen this thing used is actually disgusting, and that's by a draft player by Raven, who uses this thing as a Whirlpool Toxic Rest set, and for some reason he just makes this thing, it never dies. He uses it so well, and it just never dies, and it's just disgusting to watch, but it's so good. I love its design, I love its typing, it's good in-game, it's good competitive, all round, it's just brilliant. But again, going back to the blue and yellow as a kid, obviously blue and yellow are my sports team colours, so that always stuck out for me, and it's just always been one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. It's my favourite electric type, and it's Lantern. So there we have it, guys. Those are my top 5 favourite electric type Pokemon in Monetric, Toxicity, Lux Ray, Galvantula and Lantern. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below for a show support towards the channel and the series. Consider hitting subscribe if you are brand new around here. Let me know in the comments what top 5 Pokemon you want to see next, what typing you want to see. But most importantly, make sure to let me know your top 5 favourite electric type Pokemon as well in the comment section below. That being said, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!